guys, and my name is Shawna, and today we got a really cool request on Instagram to do our paranormal experiences. So we decided to go ahead and do a paranormal kind of playlist on YouTube because we really like this stuff, and it's one of our goals to do in the future, to explore abandoned places and do ghost hunting. So in today's first video of our paranormal experiences, we'll be sharing experiences that we've had together in the amount of years that we've been dating. I was about to say months, but we've been dating for like 12 years. Well, engaged for like 2 now. So
please actually sit back, get your popcorn, any snacks, any drinks you want, and let's get to the video and I'll actually let her talk.
Well, we're gonna take turns and get a blanket.
Yeah.
Because, you're quarantined. Get yourself some popcorn if you want, and let's get started. So we're going to share an experience that happened to us in Maryland, and this is when Micah was actually staying with us, and it was a crazy experience. And I just want to say that everything we say in our paranormal experiences is 100% true. None of this is exaggerated, none of this is written out, none of this is sketched. This is stuff that has really happened to us, and I'm just putting that out there because a lot of people don't necessarily believe in the paranormal, and they say that a lot of people use it for clout, but we're not doing that. We're really drawn to it, and we're really into it, so...
And it's not fake.
Yeah. So, do you want to start it out, or do you want me to?
Well, it was when I first actually went to Maryland and actually get to know them. It was a couple days when I was there with them, spending time and getting to know each one of them. And one night, it was before we go into bed, her dad was in his room, and all her brother and Shawna and me were actually goofing around in the living room. And the funny thing is that we were so loud that he would actually tell us to quiet down over there and stuff like that. But because their room was like this, it was like this. And Shauna's room was on this side, his room was on this side. And he wanted to spend time with us, to sleep over. And Shauna said no, and he kind of found it offensive and stuff. But when that happened, we were about to get ready for all of us to go to bed. Excuse me. I want to work. They had an old computer, like those old-time square computers, and we started hearing this noise and stuff like that, and we all looked at each other, and it was like no logo, it was unplugged and stuff like that, and there was like circle, it was like colors, it would go on circle motion and stuff like that. And Shauna said they were like upside down crosses and stuff like that.
You're missing stuff again.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let her talk all the missing pieces, because I only remember some parts. That's why I'm missing some parts.
Yeah, because remember, the screen was black at first, and basically this old computer came from my grandfather, and they were those white, bulky desktop computers. And now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, my dad didn't have internet, so we didn't have it plugged. There was no reason to have a computer plugged without internet, and the games were crappy on it, so my dad kept it unplugged. He just kept it because it was my grandfather's, and, I guess he was keeping it for us. I don't really know the backstory of the computer. All I know is that he left it unplugged. So we started hearing the noise of, like, when you first turn on a computer, that big old noise the bulky computers made. Well, you know how when it comes on, it's usually a black screen and then it shows the logos. It didn't show the logos. It went straight to a white screen, and then this black circle came up. That's the missing part that Micah forgot.
Well, I was seeing like different colors. Like at first it was like going into like circular motion, and then it was like lasting for a couple minutes. That's what I remember. And then it got into the brick color.
But see, it was like it's a trippy thing though, cause me, I saw different than what you're saying. Cause when I saw the computer, I saw like it looked like someone drew a black circle, and they were still drawing it and drawing it, and you could see like it was going faster, and then all of a sudden, that's when my brother at this point he darted back to my dad's room, cause my dad's room was kind of in the back, so that point my brother went hysterical, and that's why I ended up getting a little bit of a panic attack, because I'm like, okay, seeing my brother freak out like that, I knew at this point we were playing with paranormal, because you knew something was happening. And so my dad got mad at us because he thought we were picking on my brother and trying to scare him and stuff like that. And then when my dad came out, my dad's face was priceless. Now that was something that I wish I had a camera back in that time. His face was like, he thought we were doing it. And I'm like, no, we were arguing about because Timmy wanted to sleep with us. And,
the funny part is that your dad tried to see if it was plugged, and it was not plugged.
Well, because it was laying on the floor, remember? So, you want to tell him how you saw the crosses, and then I'll tell him how I saw the crosses? Because it was trippy, because all of our stories were different. Remember my dad said that he saw red and black crosses?
Yeah.
And then Timmy said he saw only upside down crosses. So we all saw something different on the computer.
Yeah. Actually, it started out where it was the sound, and then it started going like dot to dot to dot, like in circular motion. That's what I remember. I was like, okay, that's really weird, and I saw different colors. And then it started like going for a couple minutes and stuff like that. And what I did, I would look at their faces. It was so priceless. While they were actually getting scared, I was all like, think it was all like weird and cool at the same time, because I did experience stuff in my childhood, and I've always been drawn into like ghost and all that crazy paranormal stuff.
Well, I thought it was cool too, but at this point, I can sense when things are good and bad, and I knew it was bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I was scared, I was just getting the energy that it was bad. It wasn't a good spirit, and that's why, like, I started freaking out, because, like, I didn't want my brother to overreact in a way, because they tell you that fear feeds it, so, like, I was just scared that with my brother's fear, he was going to feed it, and it was going to do something even stronger. Like, imagine if the computer caught fire. That's the kind of thing that was running through my head, and that's why fear crept on me, because I was scared for my brother's safety, because, you always go for the younger people, and, I didn't know what the computer was doing.
If you guys are wondering why I'm just using what to call my eye bugs, but, anyways, like when her dad actually came out to see if we were actually being mean to her brother or what was going on, like, eventually it ended up stopping, and then what I saw like the actual right cross where it stands up, like the godly way, and then it was like the godly way, and then it was like this, the ungodly one, next to the cross, like this, all over the screen, and stuff like that. And yeah, I did see, like, if it was color of, like, burgundy, blood red, and stuff like that, and that's what I saw, and it was just a weird experience.
Yeah, and what I saw mostly upside down crosses, and it looked like there was blood dripping down them. And the screen kept going, like, as if it was, like, moving up and, like, going up and up, and it was just showing that over and over. And that's when my dad, he was at the back of the couch and he was looking at it and he was swearing that we did it. We did something to it. And when he went over by the computer, he realized it was unplugged. He realized that no one's been over there. And so he freaked. And that's what kind of made me freak out, because seeing your parent freak out about something that's unexplainable was kind of like, it kind of moved me a different way. So we all went to our rooms. My brother ended up sleeping with my dad, and Micah and I closed our room. And yeah, that was a crazy night. And then do you want to share some of the other experiences we've had together? Because I mean, I want to do this all about all the experiences we've had over the 12 years we've been together.
Yeah. Which, did you tell them you're gonna do like a playlist?
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a series and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna do, the way it's gonna work is like, this is the first one, which is where we're gonna share like all of our stories together. And then we'll have different videos of us individually. And the reason why we're doing all of them in one video is because this one was only 11 minutes long for this story, and then the other ones we have are like shorter stories. So anytime there's a shorter story, we're just going to add it to the same video, because there's no point of making a 2-minute video about something that, you know, you guys could have a good long video to watch and hear all of our experiences together. This is going to be the Maryland only experiences though. Our other experiences that we've had here, we'll do one about New Mexico. This is all our Maryland experiences together. So I just want to clarify that there will be another video of us together, but it will be our New Mexico experiences. So,
oh my god, if you guys don't know what Maryland's about, it's like historic and
Civil War fields over there, especially. You know, we were living in a little town outside of Gettysburg, Maryland, or not Gettysburg, Maryland, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is where a lot of the Civil War battlefields are. So we were still in Maryland. We were just 15 minutes out the borderline of Pennsylvania. So that's why, you know, I think a lot of the stuff happened because the town that we were living in was historic. There was a lot of you know how when you go to towns, they have those plaques or those, like, stands with, like, you know, writing on them about, like, you know, who did this, who inherited this, or 1845, John did this, or, you know, Megan did that. They had those all over the town that we were in because it was historic.
Okay, so do you want to start it off, or?
Yeah. So one of the nights that happened, so we were actually living in a different town at this point. The town that we were talking about, the computer, was before we ended up moving. So, or should we talk about all the experiences that happened in that one house first?
Yeah.
Okay, so another night that happened is in the same house that the computer happened. And the only reason why I'm not listing the towns is because of privacy. You know, I don't want people to, like, stalk over there or, you know, try to dig more information out and stuff like that. So I'm just going to refer it as the town where the computer happened. So this is the same house, and we were actually eating brownies because my dad made boxed brownies, but they always came out super amazing. He was, like, always good at making brownies. And one night we were eating a brownie, and it was about 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, and I started hearing what it sounded like pans. Now, my dad does get up kind of every so often to, like, smoke a cigarette or go to the bathroom or something like that, because he had to smoke outside. So we thought it was my dad at this point. So after a while, I forget what happened. I think you went to take the stuff out. And
no, isn't it because, like, I did, like, an EVP?
No, remember that this was the first time?
Oh, yeah.
This was the first time where we were just eating brownies, and, you know, this was even after the computer thing happened. Because I think what happened is the computer thing really made things start. Because that's when you start experiencing more stuff. Because when you first got there, nothing really happened.
And what I'm getting more disappointed is because over here, like I haven't experienced a lot of stuff, as much as Maryland, and like I want to experience more paranormal, but like over there, cause there's a lot of history, a lot of like there's a battlefield and stuff like that. Um, I think it's because ghosts would come to me and stuff like that, and actually come to her and make themselves known.
So that night that happened, we tried figuring out what it was, and then the second night is when Micah did the EVP under the door. So he used his cell phone, he put it near my door, and we went to bed kind of early that night because we really wanted to see what was going on. So at about the same time, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, the pans were heard during the EVPs, which was weird. And we even heard footsteps. And I asked my dad if he got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he said he didn't know. But I don't think it was him because the footsteps were very distant and it sounded like they had chains on them. Because we heard chains in the EVPs. Like if, I don't know, maybe like a prisoner would use, or do cowboy boots have chains on them, or worker boots?
No.
Because it sounded like chains. When you're walking, it sounded like the noise of chains. We heard the pots on the EVPs, and we didn't really hear a voice. It was more staticky.
Sorry.
It's okay.
And the thing with the fans, it sounded like they were loud, like moving, like...
Yeah, like violently. And I know my dad wouldn't do that, especially because he knew we were all asleep, and my brother, he was still going to school at the time. So, he wasn't like that. And this was more of like they were violently moving the pots. Like they were yanking them or pushing them all over the place. But yeah, do you want to talk about the girl?
Well, I had experienced another thing when we actually would get brownies or like those snacks your dad would get, the healthy ones. And I would actually bring some homemade cold tea and stuff like that, and we would have a little snack before bed. And I would actually hear like a conversation in the kitchen, and it was like, sounded like a man and a woman actually having a conversation. And then right there I was all like freaking out, and at that time I didn't have the phone with me. It just happened when I was walking from the kitchen to the room and stuff like that. I let her know about it and stuff like that, so it was like really creepy. And when I tried to close the door behind me, I just sort of tapped, and even saw her that.
Yeah, it was just like they were trying to get our attention. I've actually heard the woman before, remember? When I went to the bathroom by myself and I told you someone yelled hey or something like that. Yeah. They whispered hey real loud.
Yeah.
And I thought my dad probably had, a friend over or something like that, but I went to look back and he was snoring. And there was no woman in sight, and that's what really freaked me out. And the scary thing is the bathroom was more near my dad's room, so I had to run because I was scared. I mean, it gets you off guard. Like, I like the stuff, I like the adrenaline that it gives me, but it does get you off guard. And if you're not really familiar with the way that things sound, you will be off guard and you'll feel the urge to run. And that's why I think sometimes there was a negative spirit there, because I always had the urge to run from the bathroom. And I always had the urge to run from my room to the bathroom. I didn't feel comfortable between the kitchen and the living room. Something about those two places just didn't feel comfortable. It was like more heavier in the kitchen and the living room than it was in my room or the bathroom.
See, I haven't had that experience, like where you feel light or heavy and stuff. It would just happen. And it was like, wow, I loved it, like just to have that experience, because over here I did have experience. And just knowing that I would have that experience with them, it was like, wow, it turns out a notch. Like, wow, what's his name?
Oh, Hunting the Dead would say, turn shit up a notch, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is that was actually an amazing experience. To actually experience that at an older age, because I did experience stuff at my younger age. So.
Well, keep that for yours, because I know they're going to be tempted to hear.
Which I'm not gonna say that. Like, yeah, that's why. Like she said, individual.
He's trying to tease you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
So another thing that happened was a little girl. We both heard the voice of a little girl laugh.
That was creepy. And actually, that's because we were going to sleep.
And we heard her run too.
That actually was creepy as well.
Yeah, she was like running, like little feet were running, and we heard giggling.
Yes. It was like an evil laugh and stuff like that. And
this was the same house, by the way.
Yeah. We were getting off guard, and she was like turned like this way, and I was gonna actually go to sleep, and before we actually closed our eyes, or we already had our eyes closed.
We both heard it.
Yeah.
We both set up and we're like, alright, and he did the EVP again, and that's when we caught the voice of a little girl. We did hear the voice of a little girl say, hey. And we also heard breathing, we heard a big knock, we also heard little footsteps again, and we also heard the pots and pans again. But they were violent again. So, every time we heard the pots and pans, they were violent. They weren't like, and there wouldn't be no reason my dad would be cooking at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I know your dad did mention there was actually a lady there, or did you say that your dad experienced a woman near the bathroom?
I remember my dad saying something about that he heard a woman near the bathroom. Because he asked me, so what happened was before Micah came, it was about 2 months before Micah came, I was in the bathroom and I came out and I went to do my homework on the couch, and my dad ended up coming in from being outside, and because he went to visit his friend that lived up the street, he came in and he went to his room, and he thought I was in there because he started hearing a woman's voice, and he went and told me, Shawna, get out of the bathroom, that he needed to go. And I yelled at him that I was on the couch, and he's like, how are you on the couch if I heard you in the bathroom? And I told him I swore up and down that I was staying there the whole time, and I showed him all the work that I did. And he was freaked out a little bit, because he heard what it sounded like someone was talking in the bathroom. And he said it was a woman's voice. And that was like 2 months before Micah came. So, stuff was happening, but I think Micah turned it up when he came, because I would experience some things in the house, but you guys would hear that in my individual videos. So I don't remember if anything else happened in the house. I know.
I remembered. There was I told you there was. I looked at a shadow, and I went to my side of the wall.
Oh yeah, and the face that you saw when you were looking up.
Oh yeah, actually, the bed was in the middle. It was I think like this,
long ways.
Long ways
against the wall.
Yeah, and I ended up looking up, where the actually fan is, and they didn't have a fan. She didn't have a fan, and stuff like that. And the crazy thing is that the only area that had a dark color of the black. The black color. Okay. It was a big area that was really dark.
It's black as his shirt.
Yeah.
Let's just say it like that.
Yeah. I should have just said that. But the other spots of the room was actually lighter and stuff like that. And I ended up looking at it for quite a bit. Tried to see if it wasn't just hallucinations and stuff like that, and in my mind I was like, whatever. I was trying to piss it off in my mind and stuff like that, and I was actually cussing it, I think. But then I ended up tapping Sean because she was already falling asleep, and she said, what? And I told her there's something top of the ceiling, and she's like, what? And then she ended up looking for a little bit, and then me and her end up looking at it, and the thing just went.
Oh yeah, that was scary. I didn't personally see the face, but I saw when it moved, and that's when I realized that he really saw something. And I felt like it was starting to get a little bit too close to us, and it was starting to get a little bit too noticeable because it was like every night we were experiencing something, whether it be a shadow, the noise of the pots and pans, or we would hear like, scratching at my door. We heard scratching like 2 times at my door, almost sounding like it was trying to get in or trying to get out. We even heard knocks on my window. Now, sometimes I thought it might have been people because we lived on the street and there was a bar down the street, and, people are kind of dumb and ignorant. We thought it might have been them. But one night we left my window kind of open so we could see, and we heard the knock and there was no one there. And it was like a knock on the window. So, another experience that happened too is Micah tripped outside, but I think you were pushed. Because, you fell violently to the point that you actually sprained your ankle. And, there was no way that you could have sprained your ankle without being pushed. Because you didn't fall that hard that one time that you fell. That you tripped on ice. The second time that you tripped on ice, you fell pretty hard. And you even said that you felt like you were pushed outside. Because you told me that you asked if I pushed you, and I said, why would I push you? And you said you felt like you were pushed, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And he actually did sprain his ankle. My dad had to take him to the emergency room.
Yeah. I really miss Marilyn because of that reason. It's like, me and her want to get into paranormal activity, like making videos for YouTube and stuff.
Paranormal activity?
Oh, yeah.
We want to do paranormal stuff.
Well, experience activity.
Yeah.
Paranormal. See, I'm like thinking,
I like picking on you.
Yeah. I love the movie, by the way. Anyways, I want to actually...
That's where his name came from. Micah from Paranormal Activity. It's where Micah got his name.
No, that's why I love that video. That movie. But yeah. Do you want to experience paranormal stuff and show you guys?
And explore abandoned places. They don't need to be haunted, but everything has a history. And, some people say, oh, that building's scary because it's, abandoned. Well, not all places are haunted, but if they are, they are. And we get to catch it on camera and film and stuff. And that's what intrigues us the most,
I haven't been telling her to tell her one friend because that she is gonna come over and stuff like that, and her fiance and stuff like that. They're gonna come, but she actually went to an asylum.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm actually really wanting to go to one.
Yeah. So that was everything that happened in that one house that I remember of. So then we ended up moving to a different town. It wasn't that far away. What would you say, like maybe 15, 20 minutes away? Now this house, things started to get a little bit crazy because we did the dowsing rods. If you don't know what they are, they're two kind of like, we made homemade ones out of hangers.
Wired.
Yeah, but you can buy them on Amazon. So they're dowsing rods, and they either cross for yes, or they open for no, or they wiggle for maybe. And it's like where you can ask the spirits questions or whatnot. And one of my family members told us about them because she's also in the paranormal. And so we ended up going back home this one night. And this is where we think made us come over here because of this night. We didn't really have any experiences before this happened. So this was the only experience in this house. We did the dowsing rods because I had lost a friend in a car accident and I really wanted to communicate. Micah really wanted to communicate with his loved ones. And so we've decided to try it. So we were doing it for a while and I just started feeling a weird vibe, and I told Micah I didn't want to do it anymore. My hands got really hot while holding the dowsing rods.
The bad thing that I did, because her one family member said to pray before.
Yeah.
She did it. I ended up forgetting to pray.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah. I didn't pray, So I think because of me not praying and stuff like that, that actually messed up things.
Yeah, because the next day that happened, we ended up having to move out. And so, I'm not going to explain what happened because that's just drama. And we're already over it because it happened so many years ago. We ended up having to move over here with Micah's family, and to this day, we think that it had something to do with the dowsing rods and with Micah not praying because, like I said, I felt a negative energy there, and my hands were getting really hot, and you even said the dowsing rods were kind of hot too when we were messing with them.
Yeah,
They got sort of hot.
Actually, if I ever do it again, which I don't know, I would actually have to talk to her family member and before I am doing it because she is like a.
She's a psychic medium, in my opinion. She's really good at what she does. A lot of my family judged her, but like I was really intrigued by it. Me and Mika were actually telling her, "Tell us more, tell us more," because I'm into that stuff. I really don't care people's opinions. Everyone has their own likings, their own hobbies, their own beliefs, and you really have to take life on the brighter side. Like we all pass away, and everyone questions like what happens to us when we die. Well, the paranormal realm is there for a reason. You just have to believe in it and believe in God, and you gotta believe in hell, and you gotta believe in demons and angels. Because if you don't believe, it's not gonna happen. There's so many skeptics and non believers, but that's because they make too many jokes about it. And you're not gonna experience what we experience. You're not gonna have gifts and stuff like that if you're not meant to have the gifts. God picks his people, and sadly, the devil picks his people. So.
Yeah, which I actually would do that again, but this time I would actually do a prayer before and after.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now I've been actually wanting to do the Ouija board, but because I've been hearing experiences, I'm really iffy about that. Because if I ever want to communicate with my loved ones, I know they won't go to the Ouija board and it's more demonic. And I don't want to mess with demons. Or.
Well, I would never even mess with the Ouija board anyways because, I mean, you can easily use your phone and pick up voices. You can easily use a spirit box, pick up voices. You can use a radio and you skim through it like Proving Demons does. They have a radio and they skim through it and he picks up things that, okay, skeptics and unbelievers might say it's the radio, but there's a lot of responses that he gets that it wouldn't be on the radio. There's questions he would ask, and I don't think it would be on the radio.
No, and actually, they would, if someone got murdered, it would say murdered, or what happened in that place. Because radio won't actually say murder. I mean, people might actually end up saying something about a murder, but if it's gonna be a ghost, or a demonic, or whatever, they use the
frequencies of the radio.
Yeah, to actually communicate with us living here on Earth.
And sometimes you don't even need that. Sometimes you could just be sitting in your room and you can hear voices. You can hear whispers. There's been times, and I'm going to share a little bit of a personal experience. There's been times that I sit on my bed and I hear someone talking and I'll ask Mika, was that you? And I would completely hear a guy's voice in this room. And he's whispering. And I thought it was Mika in the bathroom. So, there's a lot of experiences that you can have with paranormal if you believe. And you actually take the time to do your research and you are a believer in these kind of things. That's all of our paranormal experiences that I know for in Maryland that I can remember. Do you remember any more? Or?
Not really, but it's good to research, especially your home, because you're going to purchase a home. It's actually good to know what you're going to deal with and not actually be paying something off and then have to leave, because it's not going to let you live a peaceful life.
Well, not only only that, you shouldn't leave just because you experience a little bit of things. Because you gotta realize that someone else used to live there. And our spirits can get attached to things. Our spirits can stay, in a certain house that we want to be in, or a certain object we want to keep. Spirits can be even attached to a tree outside of a certain house. Whatever that person loved to do most on earth is what they're going to be attracted to. And if you're always going to be scared and always pick up and leave, just be mindful and just tell them, if you don't want them there, tell them that they're not welcomed here anymore, that they need to move on, find the light, that you own the house now. You need to be respectful and realize that someone else used to live there. And their spirit's probably there. It could be a little old lady who was grumpy and you're in her space, or a little old man and it was his space, You can't... I get upset when people leave a house and they abandon it just because it has paranormal. I would love a haunted house because I would respect the person that used to live there. And even if it was a murderer, I would still try to stay there and I would just get rid of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you would be freeing the spirits that's trapped there. Imagine all the spirits that's probably trapped there of that killer that killed all those people.
Me and Shawna actually did a lot of this show. It's called Hunting the Dead, or the...
No, not Hunting the Dead. That's a YouTuber.
I love that dude.
The Haunting, or A Haunting.
Yeah, it's two of them, and unless it's like a house where you can actually
Oh yeah, well if you get a house where the demon can possess you and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't stay there. I would probably either keep the house and just move somewhere else and get it cleansed, and then move back in. But I mean, if it's a nice old lady or old man and they're just grumpy because you're there, or if it's even if it was a murderer that lived there, and the spirit's kind of strong and it's doing scary things, I would still find a way to stay there and just cleanse the house. I would find a way to save the house. Because everyone deserves to live where they want. And ghosts don't have the right to overpower you. You do have a voice to tell them where to go.
And I see that a lot of people in those shows would actually end up leaving.
Yeah, that would make me sad.
Oh, yeah. What I would do is actually, what those people didn't do, is actually look for a priest. Even if you're a Christian, actually, do you want to lose your home, or you want to actually keep it?
Well, some pastors can help too. I believe that Christians can do it too, because they have, their holy water and their Bible and stuff. Now, just depending how strong the energy is, you might need a priest, but...
I would get a medium.
Demonologist.
I mean, I would actually pay top dollar to actually get my place.
Yeah, because if you spend all your money on getting the dream house that you want, just to be rushed out because of paranormal experiences, I mean, like I said, it just could be an old man or an old woman that are grumpy. And you just need to talk to them and tell them you're not there to harm their place, you're not there to hurt them, and eventually you guys might become roommates.
Another thing what I would actually do, if we had a paranormal place, which I hope we do, make videos of.
Yeah, that would be a good video documentary. I personally just love the whole aspect of life. I love how, you could be walking down the street and you could pass a ghost. You can hear a ghost. You can, sometimes get weird smells. Like, demons smell like sulfur. Peace smells like roses. That's every time that I get peaceful energy, I smell roses after. Anytime that I get the negative vibes, I start smelling sulfur. And sulfur smells like rotten meat, if you're wondering. It smells like burning rotten meat. So that's the only thing that I can kind of clarify it as. But I love this kind of stuff. And I'm glad that someone reached out to us and asked us to make this series, because, I get scared to share it online because so many skeptics and unbelievers and people who tell us, oh, you guys need to go see someone because you guys are psychotic or whatever. Honestly, it's not psychotic. It's a beautiful gift. If you have it, use it wisely. I know some people take their gifts too far to the head and they try to act like they're, the top dollar. we're just someone out there that have our own personal experiences, and we're not trying to get famous off of it. We just want to, give the paranormal a voice. Give them a voice to share their stories and share their history. Sometimes you get a lot of good information off of EVPs.
If you're a skeptic, you would actually understand to give it a try or experience it. At first, when I was little, I thought people when they would die, they would just go where they had to go.
That's what I thought too.
And but like, I'll get to that one video.
Yeah, we're trying to get to our personal experiences, but we want to make it into a series for you guys, not to make it boring. Yeah.
I actually know they're wandering here on Earth. They're all around us, no matter where you go. They could be around the corner. They could be at the store. They could be at a gas station. They could be, especially in the cemetery. I mean, like this land, like, people used to live here.
Yeah, we have ancestors, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Like, to me, it kind of gives me a sense of peace knowing that, my loved ones could be watching me right now. They could whisper in my ear if they wanted to, and it wouldn't necessarily scare me. It would kind of startle me a little bit, but that's the process of it. You eventually get used to it after a while.
Oh, did we talk about, like, oh no, that's gonna be in New Mexico's video.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was some stuff that we experienced here, but not as bad as all that.
Yeah. So, that's it for this video for now.
Yeah.
We shared all of our experiences in Maryland, and then the second part will be all of our experiences in New Mexico. And, yeah, we'll probably end up filming our individual videos today. I do have longer stories, so I'll probably end up sharing one of my longer stories.
I actually don't have as much as she did. She does.
Yeah.
So, I hope you guys like this video, and actually hope you guys be in our family and stuff like that, and support us and stuff like that, and our paranormal and other hobbies we have and stuff like that, and yeah.
Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on our post notifications, because once we reach 100 subscribers, we will be hosting a PayPal giveaway open to everyone. Also, on top of that, make sure to follow all of our social media links down below. We sometimes go live on TikTok, and we really don't get a lot of viewers. So if you're on TikTok, why not follow us and catch us live and ask us questions? We're always on TikTok trying to go live for you guys. So please go and follow us there. We really appreciate it. We also have an email down below if you guys want to share a paranormal experience with us. You can email it to us. Our email is listed in the description box. And I think that's all good.
Yeah.
And if you would like to donate to this channel, which is not recommended or anything like that, I did open a Cash App because I did have someone on TikTok ask us where they could donate to us. The donations will just go into better quality for video making. It will go into giveaways. It would go back into giving back to you guys. So our donation thing will be in the description box. It's our Cash App. So yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace, guys.